What's going on YouTube? This is Devin coming back at you with another video today on Pup Stomp MTG. Today we're going to be looking at Elminster. He's a pretty cool, well-known character in the Dungeons & Dragons Forgotten Realms campaign, and he's one of the archmages in there. Usually for Commander, I'm not really a big Azorius player because I feel like it's always either control or stacks, but I feel like Elminster brings something new to the table that we haven't seen really in a long time. So what's the abilities? Whenever you scry, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. So that's a really cool ability by itself, but since Elminster is a planeswalker, you have two abilities. Draw a card, then scry 2. And his -3 ability is exile the top card of your library. Create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to that mana value of that card. So like I mentioned before, he has a lot of great abilities to scry, drawing a card, and also making our big spells cost less. So what I'll try in this video is I'll try to give a little mix of both and also put a deck list down below. It's not like the perfect ideal deck list because everyone has their own deck list that they want for this, but I'm just going to give you some suggestions in this video, try to make it short as possible so that you can get the most out of it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Looking over some of the scrying cards we have a lot of great options. And a lot more not on this list, but they're going to be in more of the deck lists. So if you don't see a card that you should be in here, they're probably in the deck list. Or if they're not in here and they're not in the deck list, let me know down below in the comments to see what are also some really great fits in here. I'd love to hear your comments and hear some of your insights about this card right here. But going over some of the cards, I do think of little cantrips like Preordain, Serum Visions, and also Ugin's Insight. Preordain and Serum Visions, basically you're just scrying to get those extra scry abilities in there, then drawing cards, which is pretty nice. We do also have Ugin's Insight, which is fantastic in this deck. Scry X, where X is the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control, then draw 3 cards. So overall, really fantastic, especially if you have Elminster on the road. You will have Scry 5, which will make all your spells reduced by 5. Fantastic. We do also have some other cards like Jace's Sanctum and Rumor Gatherer. There's a lot to like about these cards. In fact, I think these are absolute all-stars in the deck. Jace's Sanctum is basically making your spells already cost 1 less, and on top of that, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1, which really synergizes with Elminster. Also, Rumor Gatherer, fantastic. I can't tell you how awesome this card is in this deck. This is mainly due to Elminster's second ability of exiling the top card of your library and creating a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to the mana card's value. So with this, with Rumor Gatherer, whenever another creature enters the battlefield you control, scry 1, so that's great right there. If this is the second time this ability has revolved this turn, draw a card instead. So let me know down below in the comments just in case if I'm wrong on this. So if there was a third time or fourth time this ability has been triggered, would that include scrying multiple times on top of that, or would it be drawing cards? I believe it'd be scrying after that instead of drawing the card. Let me know down below in the comments if I'm wrong. Moving away from scrying cards, we do have some really great spells. Not all of them, but here's some options that you may want to consider. You may want to consider cards that have X in their mana cost because that will be reduced. Cards like Blue Sun Zenith would be fantastic because, say for example, you pay 3 blue and X, that will be reduced by Elminster's ability. So say for example, you scryed 4 and you pay 3 into that, you draw 4 cards just for 3 mana. Pretty good rate by itself. Also, we do have Seagate Restoration, draw equal to the number of cards in your hand, +1. You have no maximum hand size until the rest of the game. You're going to find out that you're going to be drawing a lot of cards in this deck, and you'll find in the game that you'll definitely want to have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game, whether you use something like a Reliquary Tower as well. Also, we do have Aminatu's Augury, which is really fantastic in here because it's a high mana cost card, but could be reduced and for an awesome ability like itself. We do also have some really great things for tokens as well. We have Shark Typhoon. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark token, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. We do also have the new Ancient Gold Dragon, which I love because it kind of synergizes very well with Elminster, making those 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token. So Instead, if you want to not have 1/1s, you could also have 4/4s with Divine Visitation, which just got reprinted in Double Masters, so it might be a really great pickup to become cheap. So essentially your 1/1 blue fairy dragon tokens will become 4/4 white angel creature tokens, which is a big upgrade compared to those other ones. And with all those tokens, you may as well use Curiosity Crafter, where you could just use those tokens to draw so much cards. With all these great synergies with tokens, scryings, and big spells, you really want to be abusing that. So the ways to do that with Elminster is using cards like Oath of Teferi, Displacer Kitten, and Spark Double, or cards that will make multiple planeswalkers. So when Oath of Teferi enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent you control, return it to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. You may activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice each turn rather than only once. This will allow you to really abuse Elminster's ability to scry 4 and draw 2 cards just because of Oath of Teferi every turn, or use his other ability as well. Also, speaking of really great cards, we do have Displacer Kitten. Ever since I saw Displacer Kitten, I absolutely think it is bonkers for what it does. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So Displacer Kitten, say for example you use Elminster's ability, then play an instant spell or a non-creature spell, you could flicker Elminster, then put Elminster back on the battlefield, then use Elminster's ability again, and then if you want to keep on turning that, Displacer Kitten is fantastic. Also Spark Double, I mean, easy to say, having 2 Elminsters will be fantastic in this deck as well. In this last section of the video, I do want to talk about some game enders. We have Elesh Norn, which is absolutely fantastic, making your other creatures get +2/+2, so those fairies will become 3/3 flyers in the air. Also, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. So with Elesh Norn, she could be an absolute game ender, especially if you have so much 1/1 fairy dragon tokens on the battlefield, as they'll just be flying in the air, being 3/3s, and also your opponent's creatures getting affected by those -2/-2s. We do also have Narset's Reversal and Approach of the Second Sun. This is a very infamous combo in a lot of decks. I just thought I would add it in here because Approach of the Second Sun is a high mana cost. But because of Elminster, we could reduce it basically almost to 1 if we wanted to. So if you haven't seen this combo before, essentially you play Approach of the Second Sun and then Narset's Reversal, Approach of the Second Sun, choosing it to come back to your hand. But it'll copy Approach of the Second Sun as if you played it. Then you could play Approach of the Second Sun again to essentially win you the game because of Approach of the Second Sun's game-winning ability. So what's really great about this, because of Elminster's ability, this would essentially cost 4 mana total if you were to reduce Approach of the Second Sun's ability just to a single white mana. There's a lot to like about this commander. To wrap up everything that I've talked about, Elminster could go a lot of different routes. You could go scrying route, drawing cards. You could go big mana spells. You could also go flicker as well. You could even go tokens as well. I do think there's a lot of great options for this commander, and he's very versatile. That's what I do really like about him. But let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts about Elminster? I know he was spoiled a while ago, and that Dungeons & Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate has been out for a while, but I thought I'd make a video about him because he is a commander that I couldn't pass up. So this might be my last commander from Commander Legends. I do feel overall Commander Legends felt like a really great, flavorful set. Unfortunately, it didn't deliver in the reprints. I know a lot of people are talking about that, but I do think it was a very fun draft environment as well. So thank you guys so much for coming by and watching the video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I know I kind of have to do it as I'm trying to grow the channel. And also, if there is a commander you want to see put on the channel, let me know down below in the comments. I'd be happy to make more commander deck techs as I love doing them. So again, thank you for stopping by.